When Christopher Columbus discovered America, it is said he was disappointed, for the place he was really seeking was this, the coast of Malabar, India's fabled spice coast, linked by intricate waterways to a hinterland of unimaginable riches. The Romans and Phoenicians, the Arabs, Chinese, and Europeans all came here in search of ivory, silks, and gold. But most of all, they came for the spices of India, cardamom, ginger, cinnamon, and black pepper, or black gold. And when they returned home, they recounted the wonders they had witnessed. When Marco Polo told the people of Venice what he had seen, they called him a liar and flung him in prison. Then, as now, India was a place that stretched the laws of credibility. If one ancient route to India was by sea, another was through the remote winding passages of the Himalayas, following the fabled Silk Road from China and Tibet, winding in through Ladakh. Ladakh, sometimes described as the last Shangri-La. Buddhism has always been a way of life in Ladakh, drawing pilgrims from China, from Japan, who for centuries passed through here seeking the birthplace of the Buddha. Pilgrims who would have stood witness to the mesmerizing rite of the great masked dance, celebrating the victory of good over evil, year after year after year. The legacy of the Buddha lingers spectacularly. In the cave temples of Ajanta, for instance, hewn out of solid mountains of rock and alive with delicate, luminous frescoes. But from Sarnath, where the Buddha preached his first sermon, it is only a short distance to the citadel of an even older faith. Varanasi, 3,000 years old, the world's oldest living city, the very cradle, perhaps, of Hinduism. To bathe here in the holy river Ganges is to wash away a lifetime's sins. And to die here is to find release from the endless cycle of birth and rebirth. Hinduism, a faith so vast, so elastic, it can enfold almost anything within itself. Its rituals encompass a myriad faces that appear and disappear wherever you go in India. Now through the hypnotic ritual of dance, and now through an ancient silent celebration in stone. Now through temples so intricate they might have been created by jewelers. Temples where you might make an offering to the gods of your dance, as simply, as naturally as you might offer flowers or incense. Around every corner, there's always some festival just waiting to happen. Ceremonies performed on a scale so lavish, it sometimes feels you're in an epic film directed by some Oriental Cecil B. DeMille. Questions. Many questions echo through the ages. As a nameless Hindu philosopher asked 3,000 years ago, who knows, and who can say whence it all came, and how creation happened? The gods themselves are later than creation, so who knows truly whence it has all arisen? Only He who surveys it all from the highest heaven, only He knows. Or perhaps even He does not know.
करिया बालम आओ नी पधारो भारे
There are many Indias, each one the real thing. The India you discover in the desert kingdoms of Rajasthan, for instance, with their jeweled palaces, rugged forts, their timeless legends of romance, chivalry, death before dishonor. There's a slightly different India you'll find in the vast silent ruins of Fatehpur Sikri, the India of the great Mughals. The Mughals, conquerors from the north, who were themselves conquered by this gentle land and settled down to create a new culture, a delicate fusion of the Muslim and Hindu ways of life. It led to a flowering of creative energy and passion, the culmination of which is the Taj Mahal, once described as a marble teardrop on the cheek of time. The Mughals, like other empires before them, came and went, but they left their imprint behind, in the southern city of Hyderabad, for instance.
तू चुप ना हो जा
This was once the fabulous, diamond-rich kingdom of Golconda, some of whose legends are intertwined with the adventures of Sinbad the Sailor, or so Marco Polo suggested anyway when he returned from here. Golconda fell to the Mughals, who made it a viceroyalty of their own empire. It faithfully continued the old traditions, long after the Mughals themselves had gone, right into the middle of the 20th century, in fact. Hyderabad was known for the extreme refinement of its ways. And as for its customs, they had to be observed, down to the last, most delicate detail. Every time you think you've figured out the real India, it decides to show you yet another of its many faces. Goa, for instance, with its great cathedrals, its Portuguese heritage, its decidedly Mediterranean flavors. Elsewhere, the memories of other European powers, like the French in Pondicherry. And if Napoleon hadn't been stopped in Egypt by Lord Nelson, they say, the history of India would have turned out rather differently. Where the French failed, of course, the British succeeded. And here in Calcutta was the second capital of their great empire, deciding the fates of peoples from Singapore to Suez, often without so much as a by your leave from London. Calcutta was an imperial city, a miniature tropical London, and it had its pride. Its clubs were more exclusive than London's, it claimed, and if the latter had the 400 Club, Calcutta just had to have a club called the 300 Club. And then there were the rituals, like the almost mandatory escape each summer to Darjeeling in the misty foothills of the Himalayas. Delhi, the 7 cities of Delhi, superimposed layer upon layer in time, together witness to the cavalcade of history. For as the age-old saying went, he who rules Delhi rules all of Hindustan. But if Delhi has been the political capital of India, the business capital lies unmistakably in Bombay. A city of dreams and hopes, fulfilled or unfulfilled as the case may be. A city the Bombay Walla likes to compare, not with New York, mind you, but with Manhattan. The big mango, if you like. India is a country where past and present coexist side by side. Now you're in the 20th century, now suddenly you're back in the 10th. Right in the heart of Bombay's harbor, for instance, the great brooding cave temple of Shiva that takes you back to the 6th century. Here, finally, you confront an essential truth about India. It's a land of many faces, some seen, some unseen. But once they've looked you in the eye, you may never be quite the same again.